Hey, thanks for tuning in. Today we are talking about what to do if your flight is cancelled and you are either in destination or trying to get to your destination. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a like and also hit subscribe so you don't miss any future video travel tips. So just recently went to Punta Cana and I actually had 2 connecting flights on the way there and 2 on the way back. And out of those 4 flights, 3 of them ended up being canceled. The first one was before departure, before we'd even left for the airport, and that one just got booted back about 5 hours, so that wasn't a big deal. Sure, we're gonna land in Toronto in the middle of the night, but that's doable. You do need to confirm that you've received the change notice, and then you're good to go. The next one was slightly different because we actually had gotten on the plane and we'd started taxiing out to the runway. And as the pilots were going through their, 87 item checklist to make sure that everything's working properly, they noticed an indicator light was not working properly or was suggesting that there was a bit of an issue. So they brought the mechanics on board, and sure enough, they decided that for best operational reasons, they should cancel the flight. Well, unfortunately, in Punta Cana, en route to Punta Cana, there aren't a lot of flights every day. So we ended up having our flight canceled due to mechanical reasons, and it was rescheduled for the following day. Now they knew this within about an hour of this whole issue happening. So we knew even before we got off the plane that they would put in what they call a rescue flight. And that means to say that they're gonna get a new crew, they're gonna get a new plane, and they're gonna schedule your next departure so that they can get you to destination, because remember, they also have to go and collect everyone who's there who was supposed to be coming back by filling up the plane that you were on. So this whole thing happened with WestJet. They actually were great. I mean, hands down to them. They did a really good job of communicating to us what was happening. As soon as we got off the plane, we had to go to the WestJet counter. You need to go to whatever airline that you're booked with and go to the service desk in the airport to find out what the plans are. Now, if you're a local resident of the area, they are gonna send you home for the night and then have you just come back to the airport the following day, but they'll reconfirm what your next flight is going to be and any seats that you may have pre-selected. If you're from out of town, then they would provide you with accommodation. And in this case, we ended up at the Crown Plaza in Greater Toronto Airport, which was actually totally fine. And we got vouchers for food and beverage. And that took care of basically everything. The important thing for you to know though is, number one, WestJet is going to, or the airline that you're scheduled to be flying with, is going to accommodate you, and that's where any kind of insurance issues are going to work on a priority basis. So the first person who is going to be paying out for anything is going to be the airline. Then the second one behind that is going to be your travel insurance. So if you booked it on a credit card where you've got extra coverage for trip delay or trip interruption, then you can seek coverage through that for any additional expenses, taxi, that kind of thing. By and large, though, the airline is going to take care of things for you. But if you have any emergency items that you need to pick or collect, they can definitely cover that for you. And then the other thing you need to do is remember that if you were meant to be arriving in your destination that night, you need to contact the hotel in destination and make sure that they are aware that your flight's been canceled or delayed for the next day, and to not cancel you as being a no-show. Because if the hotel's really popular and really busy at that time of year, they might think, well, this person's just not gonna show up, because people do cancel, and they might backfill your room with somebody new, and you wanna make sure that that doesn't happen. So you need to contact the hotel in destination. If you've booked through a travel agent, ask them to help you out. I just took the bull by the horns and I took care of it all by myself, and contacted the hotel, made sure that they were aware that we were arriving the following day. If you have a shuttle, that you're doing a private shuttle from the airport to the hotel, you also need to contact them, because otherwise they're going to see that your flight's been canceled, but they're not going to know what the new plan is. Depending on the transfer company, they may or may not honor your ability to reschedule for the following day. So if you if they do not cover this because it's too close to departure or your arrival in the country, then you may have to go through your insurance in order to get that reimbursed. But you do then need to make a new shuttle reservation for the following day to make sure that you can get from the airport to the property. Those are basically the main things that you need to contact. Now, when we were in destination, again, our flight going to Punta Cana, on the way there, it went mechanical. So before we'd even left the resort to head to the airport, we knew that we had no flight and that it was going to be rescheduled for the following day. Now, to me, this is not a bad thing. We're stuck in paradise for another 24, 23 hours. To me, this is a total gift. And it happened to be before the weekend, so we didn't have to worry about work and stuff like that. So it was pretty perfect. But obviously, there's a few phone calls that you need to make in that situation. Again, you need to reconfirm with the airline that you accept the changes, because if you're in an emergency, you might need to get back. You might take it under your own reins to rebook something instead. The airline in that situation is not going to reimburse you because you're just doing your own thing, and they have a duty to accommodate, but that doesn't include getting you urgently back home. So you need to speak to the airline to reconfirm what you're doing and reconfirm the change. If you have insurance, again, you need to call, and this would be a brand new claim because it's a brand new incident. So you'd need to get that initiated. And then again, if you have transfers or a shuttle or a taxi, you need to make those adjustments. And then lastly, if you have any accommodations, for example, we were doing a connecting flight. We were going to overnight in Toronto, and we had accommodations booked there for the overnight. Well, when they rebooked us, it was on an earlier flight, which meant to say we would get back into Vancouver quite late at night, but we no longer needed the hotel. So we were able to contact the hotel, explain our situation. We were pretty close to the cutoff for being into penalties, but given the situation, they said no problem, and they were able to cancel the reservation and take care of things for us without any problem. So again, you just need to make some phone calls and be prepared to, take control of the situation. But those are the main things that you need to speak with. You need to be in touch with the airline. You need to talk to your insurance company if you have coverage. And then you always need to think about any additional things that you've booked separately, which might now be altered or need to be altered because of the delay. But all in all, like I said, we ended up with an extra 23 hours in paradise. It's absolutely fantastic, had a great time, and the whole schedule change was not a big deal. So hopefully it works out for you, but just in case, good information for you to have, and good for future reference. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a like if you enjoyed the video.